Okay, there it is. I forgot to turn on the microphone. Man. I forget that this one has the thing to get itself turned on and off. But anyways, here we are. Let me see. Do we have great audio? We should have. Yeah. So, anyways. Man. Sorry for that. Well, anyways. Hello everybody. Once again, here we are on another beautiful night to keep ourselves entertained, to keep exploring, to keep reading, to keep learning, to keep doing what we find the most pleasure on. In this case, it is about the Mahabharata, about reading this book and about discovering the story that it contains. So yeah, let's see. It should be properly set up. Okay, there it is. Well, sorry, as always, hello everybody, hello lurkers, hello bot watchers, hello beautiful chatters. In this case, we have Whiplash and Subdued. I'm Cody, or simply Cody. Hello everybody, welcome another beautiful night. Sorry for taking so long. As I said, also, I had some problems with a fucking cockroach, so I had to try and kill it. I sadly failed on doing so. I am a fucking failure, but yeah, anyways, that is beyond the point. Potato is fine, so everything else should be fine, no? So, transitioning to here, the book itself, and we left on here. Let me also get here. Canto 12. Lokapala Sabhakyana Parva continued, is where we left last time. It was about. We're still on the story where Narada Muni is talking with Yudhishthira about the different, I think, knowledges and almost, what is it called? It isn't Amrita. Tejas. The important tejas of life or something like that. Basically, different kinds of important knowledge. That is what they are talking about here. Yudhishthira the king getting and also pondering with the lessons that Narada Muni is giving to him. So yeah, as I said, let me get a little bit more ready. Canto 12, Lokapala Sakapiyana Parva, continue. Let me drink water. Yeah, beautiful water. And now we shall continue. Yudhishthira says, best among all the eloquent, from your description of the different sabhas, it seems that almost all. Once again, I guess there are some errors or something like that, because that fucking A makes literally no sense. The kings of the earth are to be found in the saga of Yama, and O Master, almost all the Nagas, the main daityas, rivers and oceans are to be found in Varuna's sabha. So too the Yakshas, the Yakas, the Rakshasas, the Gandharvas, and the Apsaras, and the god who has the bull for his Vahana are to be found in the sabha of the Lord of Treasures. You have said that in the sabha of the Grandsire, all the great rishis, all the devas, all the branches of learning are present. For the sabha of Sakra, you have named, O Muni, all the devas, the Gandharvas, and various rishis. But, Mahamuni, you have named just a single king of the earth as living in the sabha of illustrious king of the devas, the Raharishi Harishchandra. What did that celebrated king do? Or what great tapasya did he perform with what unwavering vratas, because of which he has become equal to Indra himself? O Varahamana, who did you also meet, my father, the noble Pandu, who now dwells in the realm of the Piturs, lofty one of pure vratas? Did he say anything to you? Ah, tell me everything. I am agog. Well, I would say one of the few things that we kind of talked about before, there is a very, I don't think very big in the sense of negative, but there is a problem, and that is this whole, um, what are the color? I already forgot. Um, Parva. On this whole Parva, there are mentions about concepts, literally like the concept of vitality embodied, and it gets hard to properly envision something like that. That is the only problem that most of the things has. And well, not only concepts, also mountains and rivers and so on and so forth. So it gets kind of troublesome to properly envision what it tries to talk about. When I wouldn't say you can't do it, but simply the difficulty itself is to form in the imagination something compared to what it might represent, taking into account that they hadn't been properly explained so far. But aside from that, everything else doesn't really have that much more to explain or to extract from. The, for example, simply the interest of knowing about oneself's father is always present, as we always want to construct a more clear story about who our elders were, but it doesn't really need to be that much explained, as the story is also talking about it, and we don't have the necessity ourselves of trying to extend a point that gets by itself is extended. So yeah, basically that. So let me continue. Sorry for that. Narada says, King of Kings, I will tell you everything you want to know about Harishchandra. I will tell you of his matchless excellence. He was a powerful king, indeed, an emperor of all the kings of the earth. And they obeyed him. Rahan, riding along in a triumphal chariot decked with gold, Harishchandra brought the whole world, with her 7 Dvipas, under his sway with the power of his arms. Having subdued the entire earth with her mountains, forests, and rivers, he prepared to perform the great Rajasuya Yagna, the imperial sacrifice, and at his command all the kings of the world brought untold wealth to that sacrifice. All of them agreed to be distributors of food and gifts to the Brahmanas who were fed on the occasion. During that sacrifice, King Harishchandra gave away to anyone that asked 5 times as much gold as they wanted. When the yagna was concluded, the king pleased the Brahmanas who came from many distant countries with bounteous gifts and wealth of many kinds. Delighted with the feast of food and other gifts, giving to their hearts content, and with the heaps of jewels, they began to say, King Harishchandra is greater than any king ever, both in fame and splendor. No, O Rahan, this was why Harishchandra shone more brightly than thousands of other kings. The mighty Harishchandra concluded his great sacrifice and was installed as sovereign emperor of the earth. And he was radiant upon his throne. Bharatari every king who performs the Rajasuya Yagna attains to the kingdom of Indra and passes his time in felicity in Indra's company. Those kings too who give up their lives on the field of battle without ever turning their backs on the fight find Indra's halls and live in joy with him. Those, again, who quit their bodies after stern tapasya attain the same realm and shine there for many an age. Let me see, is it longer? Okay. King of the Kurus, O son of Kunti, seeing the good fortune of Harishchandra and wondering at it, your father did tell me something. Knowing that I was coming to this world of men, he bowed to me and said, Oh Rishi, he must tell you his tira that, because his brothers all obey him, he can conquer the whole world. Once he does this, let him perform a Rajasuya Yagna. He is my son. If he performs that sacrifice like Harishchandra, I might also soon attain to Indraloka, and there in his sabha pass countless years in uninterrupted bliss. What? I replied to him, O king, I will tell your son all this if I go to the world of men. Okay. Purushara, I have now told you what your father said to me, Pandava. Fulfill your father's wishes. If you perform that sacrifice, you will then be able, along with your dead ancestors, to enter the realm of the king of the Devas. It is said that as many obstacles and fears attend the performance of this great sacrifice, a race of Rakshasas called Brahma Rakshasas, whose task it is to obstruct every sacrifice, will do everything in their power to stop a Rajasuya Yagna once it has begun. When such a sacrifice is undertaken, there might be a war which could destroy the Kshatriyas and create an occasion for the destruction of the very world. Even a slight mischance during a Rajasuya Yagna may bring the whole world to ruin. Reflect upon all this, O King of Kings, and do what is good for you. Be vigilant in protecting the four Varnas among your subjects. I guess Varanas. Grow in prosperity and enjoy every felicity. Please Brahmanas with gifts of wealth. I have no answered in detail everything which you ask. With your leave now, I will go to Dwavarati, city of the Dasarahas. O Hanamihaya, having spoken thus to the son of Prita, Narada goes away, accompanied by the rishis with whom he had come. When Narada has left King Yudhishthira and his brothers, when Narada has left, King Yudhishthira and his brothers begin to think about that greatest of sacrifices, which is called the Rajasuya Yagna. Treatise. This has almost nothing to do with what is being talked about here, but I didn't know, or I didn't really consider that. What is it? What is it? Let me see. If he performs this, I never paid attention to the concept of attaining. No. This isn't the one. This isn't. Let me see. Here. Sorry. Those kings, too, who give up their lives on the field of battle without ever turning their backs on the fight, find Indra's halls and live in joy with him. I never paid attention to that particular part. Kind of around idea. But I never paid attention to that in the sense of it is very similar to what happens with I was going to say Berserkers, what? With Vikings. It is very similar of those who die. In particular, I guess the difference is a king and not every single Kshatriya or slash warrior, but more specifically a king. And yeah, I never really put any thought behind considering such an, I wouldn't say coincidence, but rather I see it from the point of it is almost completely understandable why almost without discrediting anything in particular, almost every religion will want to put such an emphasis on the concept of dying in battle, in the sense of not being ashamed of dying in battle, and in a more deeper sense also considering the importance of dying in battle, because it encourages for different kingdoms to keep expanding. It encourages warriors to keep doing what they should do, and it also shows that there is a reward behind what they do. It isn't simply that they are going to throw away their lives, but rather that they are going to attain something important. In this case, even the biggest type of what is it? Dharma. The biggest type of dharma, as in the biggest type of present after death, it is what they attain. If they are capable of letting themselves die in the middle of a battle, because, and I think about it as trying to make sense will be because it means that you are showing the different leaders it is important to play such a role so that they can also show their I don't think the proper word is minions, but let's simply go with that. Their minions and their vassals and such, that it really has a significance on taking responsibility over even something so deadly like a fight, I will say. So yeah, I think it is interesting, I will say. It doesn't really seem that much weird. It has some parts that are kind of observable or a little bit more, let's say, mm, ponderable, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it never stops being interesting. So yeah, yeah, very, very, very good. Now, sorry for such a detour. Let us continue. Um, mm, Here, well, before that, let me drink water also. So, Canto 13. Lokapala Safwakiana Parva continued. By Sampayana said, after listening to Narada, Yudhishthira begins to sigh. O Mahabharata, plunged in thoughts of the Rajasuya, the king has no peace. Having heard about the glory of the illustrious kings of yore, knowing for certain now about attaining realms of grace through the performance of sacrifice and the resultant punya, and especially thinking of the Raharishi Harishchandra who performed the great yagna, Yudhishthira wants to prepare to undertake a Rajasuya yagna, offering worship to his ministers and others in his sabha, and being worshipped by them in return. He initiates discussions about that sacrifice with them. After deep reflection, that king of kings, bull among gurus, turns his mind towards preparing for the Rajasuya. However, then, considering Dharma, that prince of magnificent energy and prowess, sets his heart again on discovering what would be good for all his people. For Yudhishthira, best of all good men, is unvaryingly kind to his subjects and works for the well of all, without distinctions. Indeed, shaking off both anger and pride, Yudhishthira said, always says, give each his due, and the only words he likes to hear are, blessed be Dharma, blessed be Dharma. Also, welcome, Stripanso or Panso. Welcome, welcome. Here we are, another day pondering Mahabharata. Thus Yudhishthira rules and is like a father to all his people. There is no one in his kingdom that bears any hostility towards him. Hence he comes to be known as Ajatasattu, he without an enemy. The king cherishes everyone as belonging to his family, and Bhima rules justly over all. Arjuna, the perfectly ambidextrous bowman, protects the kingdom from outside enemies, while the wise Sahadeva administers justice impartially. Nakula shows great humility towards everyone, and this was his nature. Because of all this, the kingdom is free from disputes and fear of every kind, and the people attend to their svadharma. The rain is plentiful, and none can ask for any more. The kingdom's prosperity grows because of the dharma and virtue of the king. Money lenders, makers of articles needed for sacrifices, cattle breeders, farmers and traders, why, all and everything grow in prosperity. During the reign of Yudhishthira, there is no extortion in the kingdom, no stingent realization of arrears of rent, no fear of disease, of fire, or of death by poisoning and mantras. It is never heard during that time that criminals, thieves, cheats, or royal favorites ever enjoy any liberties with the king or the people, or even amongst one another. Kshatriyas, kings conquered during the 6 occasions, wait on the king to see to his welfare and to worship him always, while Vaishyas of the different classes come to pay him the taxes on their occupations. Thus, during the reign of Yudhishthira Dharmaraja, his kingdom prospers. Why? The prosperity of the kingdom is swelled not only through this, but even by those who are addicted to voluptuousness and indulgence in every luxury to their fill. Yudhishthira, king of kings, whose sway extends everywhere, is possessed of every accomplishment and treats all things with forbearance. Rahan, whichever countries that celebrated and splendid king conquerors, what their people, from Brahmanas to Sudras, become more attached to him than to their own fathers and mothers. Now King Yudhishthira, most eloquent of men, calls together his ministers and his brothers and asks them repeatedly about the Rajasuya Yagna. All the ministers speak solemnly to his wise Yudhishthira, who wants to perform the imperial sacrifice. He who already owns a kingdom wishes to become an emperor through the yagna that confers all the attributes of Varuna on a king. O prince of the Kurus, all your friends believe that you are worthy of becoming an emperor. Indeed, that the time is ripe for you to perform the Rajasuya Yagna. Because of your possessions as a Kshatriya, we say the time has come for the performance of the sacrifice, during which rishis of austere vratas kindle 6 fires by chanting mantras from the Samaveda. At the conclusion of the Rajasuya Yagna, the sacrificer is installed as sovereign of the empire, and he is rewarded with the fruit of every other sacrifice, including the Agnihotra. For this, he is called the conqueror of all. Mahabaho, you are more than capable of performing this yagna. All of us obey you, and very soon you will be able to undertake the Rajasuya. So, Maharajan resolved to do it without further discussion. So say all his friends and ministers to the king, separately and together. Rahan, having heard these good, brave, agreeable, and weighty words, Yudhishthira Parantapa, in his mind, is inclined to acquiescence. Having heard what his friends and counselors say, and also knowing his own strength, O Mahabharata, yet the king reflects repeatedly on the matter. After this, Yudhishthira, intelligent and virtuous, wise in counsel, consults again with his brothers, with illustrious Ritvihas around him, with his ministers, and with Damya and Dvaipayana, and others. Yudhishthira says, how will this desire of mine to perform the Rajasuya Yagna, which is worthy of an emperor, become fruitful through merely the consequence of my faith and speech? O you, with eyes like lotus petals, ask this by the king. They replied then to Yudhishthira Dharma Raha. You will know the dictates of Dharma, O king, and so you are worthy of performing the awesome Rajasuya Yagna. When the Ritvikas and the Rishis say these words to the king, his ministers and his brothers approve warmly of what they say. However, that most wise king, his mind perfectly controlled, wishing the well of the world, yet again reflects on the matter and considers his own strength and his resources, all the circumstances of time and place, his income and expenditure, for he knows that the wise never come to grief because they always act only after true deliberation. Thorough deliberation. Yudhishthira thinks that he should not begin the sacrifice only by his own resolve. Carefully considering the gravity of the yagna, he thinks of Krishna, scourge of sinners, to be the best one to decide, because he knows that Krishna is the greatest of all persons, of measureless tejas, mighty arm, unborn, yet born among men purely from his own will. The Pandava thinks about Krishna's godlike deeds and decides that there is nothing unknown to him, nothing Krishna cannot achieve, nothing he cannot endure, and so concluding Prita's son Yudhishthira sends a messenger to that master of all beings, sending through his man his blessings and greetings, such as an elder man does to one younger than himself. Riding in a swift chariot, that messenger arrives in Dwavarati among the Yadavas and approaches Krishna. When Achyuta Krishna hears that Prita's son wants to see him, he too becomes desirous of seeing his cousin. In his chariot, drawn by fleet horses, flashing through many lands, Krishna with Indrasena arrives in Indraprastha. Arriving in Indraprastha, Janardana comes directly to Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira receives Krishna with fatherly love, and Bhima also receives him likewise. Then Krishna comes in joy to greet his father's sister, Kunti. When the twins have worshipped him with reverence, he begins to speak in great delight with Arjuna, his friend, who is overjoyed to see him. When Krishna has rested a while in a delightful apartment, and is refreshed, Yudhishthira comes to him at his leisure and tells him about the Rajasuya Yagna. Yudhishthira says, I want to perform the Rajasuya, but that Yagna cannot be undertaken just by my wishing to perform it. Krishna, you know everything about the royal sacrifice and what is needed for its performance. Only he can accomplish it in whom everything is possible, who is worshipped everywhere, and who is the King of Kings. My friends and my ministers have come to me and said that I should undertake the yagna. But, Krishna, what you say about this will be my final guide. Some ministers do not see the true hazards of such an undertaking out of their love. Others, from self-interest, say only what is agreeable. Some, again, see what benefits them as being the course to follow. Thus, men give counsel of matters which await deciding. But you, O Krishna, are above these motives. You are beyond both desire and anger. You must tell me what is truly most beneficial for the world. Okay, are we done with this canto? Fine. Man, yeah. One of the few things that I have to accept at this point, it gets hard to really talk about anything particular when the cantos themselves are so incredibly long. And in some cases, I do pause when something is sufficiently important, but in some others, I prefer to keep going. I think, for example, here, let's say like this. For example, in this case, pausing or making another canto, like when the messenger is sent to Krishna, something like that will be fine to break this canto into two tinier cantos for the sake of giving the reader the possibility of properly considering everything that is talked about here. But I don't know. Aside from that, more proper knowledge, more proper things to say. I think it is very interesting to observe the importance that is given to the fact of being wise with our own decisions, in the sense of, we have kind of talked about it before. Yudhishthira might represent the individual in the sense of, it might as well be a good representation of what is correct to try and aspire to be, let's say, because the five brothers in their wholeness are almost a godlike entity in the sense of their perfection. And in this same case, it applies that we're talking about particularly the incredible wiseness that is carried when we are capable of properly observing all the different topics and all the different subjects that arise from our existence, instead of simply acting harshly or almost irrationally for the sake of, for example, here, what is said, let me see, what is said here. Some, again, see what benefits them as being the course to follow. So, for example, something like that. There are some more other reasons, and I mean, well, if I were to be also real, something even more deep is this one. Some ministers do not see the true hazards of such an undertaking, out of their love. Something so incredible like that. Because, mm, let's say like this, the, the Mahabharata accepts that it is good to love, but also it shows that it could even become a poison to love so much, in the sense of it blinds oneself and it gives or it robs us of the possibility of really giving importance and wise, not only feedback, but counseling to whoever needs it. Because we think that if we're loving enough and if we do it softly enough, we're not going to take any bad decision. But even in this case, and without having the response of Krishna himself, I will say that the best course of action is to be as truthful as one could be, let's say. Because the objective is also to try and establish a proper understanding about what the best course of action is, not to try and tangle ourselves with such emotions or with such blindness and so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it isn't that hard to see it. I guess, in a sense, the Mahabharata, like many other books or epics or stories or whatever, has a very nice way with their words, and one that if the individual wants to take apart the different messages, it's possible, but it really doesn't need for the viewer to do so, I will say. But yeah, I mean, it is still wonderful. So yeah, let us, after I take some water, let us continue. Here we are. Canto 14. Rajasuya Rambha Parva. Krishna said, Maharaja, you are worthy and possess every quality needed to perform the Rajasuya Yagna. You know everything, O Maharata. Yet let me tell you something. Those who now go in the world as Kshatriyas are inferior in every way to the Kshatriyas that Rama, the son of Hamadagnya, exterminated. Mahipati, Lord of the Earth, Bharatari Shabha, you know what kind of rule these Kshatriyas, guided by the laws and traditions handed down from generation to generation, have established amongst themselves, and how competent they are to perform the Rajasuya Yagna. Many royal lines, as well as other ordinary Kshatriyas, say that they are descendants of Aila and Ikshwaku. The descendants of Aila, O king, as also the kings of Ikshwaku's race, are known, each divided into 100 separate dynasties. The descendants of Yayati and the Bohas are great, both in extent and achievements. These last today are scattered all over the earth, and all Kshatriyas worship the prosperity of these kings. However, King Harasandha has overwhelmed the power and prosperity enjoyed by their entire order, and overpowering them with his prowess, has set himself at the head of all these kings. Harasandha enjoys sovereignty over the middle portion of the earth, and he has resolved to create this union amongst us. Rahan, a king who is the paramount lord of all kings, and in whom alone the dominion of the world is vested, deserves to be called an emperor. Sisupala of Chedi, of great vitality, has placed himself under Harasandha's protection and has become his senapati, the commander of all his forces. The mighty Baka, king of the Karushas, who can do battle using Maya, waits upon Harasandha as his Sishya, besides two others, Hansa and Dimhaka, of great Tejas and Atman, have sought shelter with the mighty Harasandha. There are others as well, Dantabakra, Karusa, Karava, and Meghabanhana, who serve Harasandha. He too who wears upon his head the jewel known as the most wonderful on earth, the king of the Yavanas, who has chastened Muru and Naraka, and whose power is unlimited, who rules the west like another Varuna, whose name is Bhagadatta, who is an old friend of your father, has bowed his head before Harasantha, both by what he says and by what he does. However, in his heart he is bound by love for you, since he regarded your father as his son. O king, that lord of the earth, whose dominions extend in the west and the south, your maternal uncle Puruhit, that fearless perpetuator of the race of Kunti, that slayer of all enemies, is the one king who has regard for you only out of love. Then he whom I did not kill, the Valvorech of the Jedis, who displays himself to the world as a divine one, and whom the world has also come to regard as such, who from his witlessness always carries the emblems of the Avatara, the king of Banga, Pundra, and the Kiratas, who is known for his world as what? Who is known in this world as Paundraka, and who also calls himself Vasudeva, has also allied himself with Harasandha. Bhishmaka, the mighty lord of the Bohas, friend of Indra, a slayer of hostile Kshatriyas, Bhishmaka, who governs a fourth part of the world, who with his knowledge conquered the Pandyas and the Kratakausikas, whose brother, the brave Agriti, was like Shamdagni's son Rama, also serves Harasandha, master of Magadha. We are also Bhishmaka's relatives, and so we do what is agreeable to him. But he does not respect us, and always tries to do us harm. Rahan, he hardly seems aware of his own might, or the honor of the great race to which he belongs. He is swayed just by Harasandha's shining fame, and has allied himself to Magadhan. Also, noble one, the 18 tribe of Bohas, fearing Harasandha, have all fled west, as have the Surasenas, the Badrakas, the Bodhas, the Salwas, the Patachcharas, the Susthalas, the Sukutas, and the Kulindas, along with the Kuntis. The king of the Salwayanas, his brothers and followers, the southern Panchalas and the eastern Kosalas have fled to the land of the Kuntis, so also the Madhyas and the Sanyastapadas, overcome by fear, leaving their dominions in the north, have fled south. Terrified by Harasandha's power, the Panchalas fled in all directions. Some time ago, the foolish Kamsa, who persecuted the Yadavas, married two of Harasandha's daughters, Asti and Prapti, the sisters of his son, another Sahadeva. Strengthened by this alliance, the villainous Kamsa tyrannized his kinsmen and gained odium for himself. He also harried the old Boha kings, but they sought our help. We gave Ahuka's beautiful daughter to be Akrura's wife, and then Balarama and I killed Kamsa and Sunamana to do relatives as service. However, even after the immediate cause of fear was removed, his father-in-law Harasandha took up arms against us. We decided that if even we, the 18 younger branches of the Yadava tribes, attacked our enemy concertedly with great weapons, we would still not be able to vanquish him, not in 300 years. Harasandha had two friends who were like immortals and in strength the strongest among all men. They were called Hansa and Dimhaka, both of whom no weapon could slay. With them for allies, the mighty Harasandha, I believed, will not be killed even if the three worlds united against him. Most intelligent of men, this was not merely my opinion, but all the other kings also felt the same way. However, there was another king, also called Hansa, and Balarama engaged him in battle and killed him after 18 days of fight. Mahabharata, when the Dimhaka heard that people saying that Hansa was slain, he felt could not bear to live without his friend and killed himself by throwing himself into the Yamuna. Later, when his friend Hansa, scourge of hostile armies, returned and heard that Dimhaka had killed himself, he ran straight to the Yamuna and took his life by throwing himself into her waters. Then, O Mahabharata Rishabha. Jarasandha heard that both Hansa and Dimhaka were dead, and he turned back home with a broken heart. When he retreated, we were delighted and lived joyfully and in peace in Mathura, until Jarasandha's daughter, the lovely, lotus-eyed widow of Hansa, stricken by the death of her husband, went lamenting to her father and repeatedly begged him that monarchs of Magadha, Parantapa, bane of all your enemies, kill the killer of my husband. Then, great king, we again remembered what we had concluded long ago, and in alarm we fled Mathura. We divided our great wealth among many into small portions, so each could be easily carried, and we fled with our cousins and kinsfolk in fear of Jarasandha. Having thought carefully, we fled west. In the west is a delightful city called Kasus. What? Called Kusasthat. What? Oh, my brother, make easier names. In the west is a delightful city. Sorry. In the west is a delightful city called Kusastha, ringed by the Raivata Mountains. In that city, O king, we began living. We rebuilt its fort and made it so strong that even the gods cannot reach it, and from inside even our woman can hold off any enemy. Why speak of the Yadava heroes who know no fear? Yes, Parantapa, we now live in that city, and because the great mountain is impregnable, the descendants of Madhu have become exceedingly glad, thinking that they have already passed beyond fearing Harasandha. Thus, though strong and powerful, we have been obliged to seek refuge in the Gomanta Mountains, which are 3 yohanas long, from fear of Harasandha. In each yohana, we have established 21 outposts of armed soldiers. Every yohana has 100 gates, guarded by great Kshatriyas, all invincible, who belong to the younger strains of the Yadavas. In our clan, O king, there are 18,000 brothers and cousins. Ahuka has 100 sons, each like a god in strength. Charudeshna, his brother Chakradeva, Satyaki, myself, Rohini's son Baladeva, and my son Samha, who is my equal in battle, we 7 Rahan are Atirathas, besides Teraroter Rahan, Kritavarman, Anad Rishti, Samika, Samitinhaya, Kanka, Sanku, and Kunti. These 7 are Maharatas. Maharatas also are the 2 sons of Andhagaboha, as is the old king himself. Endowed with great prowess, all these are great Kshatriyas, each as mighty as Indra's thunderbolt. These Maharatas choose the middle country and now live among the Berishnis, Bharatotama. Only you are worthy of being an emperor. It will become you to establish your empire over all the Kshatriyas. However, in my judgment, you will not be able to perform the Rahasuya Yagna as long as the powerful Harasandha lives. As a lion keeps the carcasses of mighty elephants he has killed in his cave, Harasandha has incarcerated many kings of the world inside his hills fortress. Parantapa, when they are 100 in number, he wants to sacrifice to Umapati Siva, the illustrious Devadeva, whom he worships and who loves him for his fierce tapasya. So it is that he has vanquished the kings of the earth, and he now has the means to keep the bow he swore to sacrifice 100 kings. He has made his city populous by conquering the kings and bringing them and their troops to his fortress as his captives. We also once fled Mathura to Dwavarati from fear of Harasandha. If, Maharajan, you want to perform this sacrifice, you must rescue the kings from Harasandha and also bring about his death, scion of the Kurus. Otherwise, you cannot undertake to perform Arhasuya Yagna. This is the only way you can succeed. Rahan, this is my view. Do sinless as you see fit. The circumstances being what they are, reflect upon everything. Consider all causes and effects, and then tell us what you think is proper to do. Yeah, kind of really hard to say anything. I will argue. Sorry. Hello, welcome. So far, we are once again reading the beautiful Mahabharata. So far, I think not that much has happened. We're simply observing how to perform the Rajasuya Yagna, aka the biggest sacrifice. So yeah, basically that. I think we're going to oh man, oh man, we are going to have a new beautiful war. This is wonderful. Oh man, still not used to your what? I mean, I don't know. I think it is fine. The only problem that I have right now is that I have the possibility of sitting more straight than before, and because of that, let me adjust the mic just a second because it is too incredibly low, and I have to fucking crouch to get it close to my mouth. Okay, here we are. Wait, let me more like this. More like this. Okay, there we are. More properly. I can. My man, I don't have to crouch anymore to reach the microphone. This is quality content. Anyways, we are now entering the canto 15. Rajasuya Ramjaparva continued. But after properly reading, let me take some water. Because I don't know what. I think the biggest problem is I haven't drink any water. So, okay, give me a second. Water. The quick rundown is Yudhishthira, as in one of the kings of the main story, wants to perform an incredibly big sacrifice, and to do so he now sees, after consulting one of his close friends, that he should first go into war? My god, go into war with a guy that is as equally powerful as him, so that if he wants to perform that sacrifice, everything goes fine instead of some problem happening in the middle or something like that. So yeah, we are now seeing what will be his considerations because he isn't completely decided. And yeah, that is basically what is next on this Canto 15. So yeah, after that we also kept seeing about Narada Muni and Yudhishthira also, who were talking about why he should perform this particular ritual, and after that also the different knowledge and Eastern Bratas and such about the importance of being a good king, and that is why he is now considering to perform such a big sacrifice or ritual, the same thing. I think, but yeah. So yeah, let us now continue. Canto 15. Rajasuya Ramjaparva continued. Yudhishthira says, being as intelligent as you are, you have said what no one else could. Surely, no one but you can settle every doubt in this world. There are kings in every land, engaged in benefiting themselves, yet none amongst them has been able to become an emperor. Truly, the title is difficult of acquisition. He who is aware of the strength and courage of others never praises himself. He alone is worthy of praise who conducts himself honorably while engaging his enemies. O bearer of the dignity of the Vrishnis, even like the white earth is adorned with great many jewels, myriad and countless are the desires and propensities of man, even as experience can rarely be gained other than by journeying in lands far from one's home, so too salvation can never be gained other than by living by high principles, which are remote from one's desires and baser tendencies. I regard peace of mind as the highest goal here, for from what alone comes true prosperity. In my view, if I undertake this sacrifice, I will never attain the highest goal. O Hanardana, blessed with vitality and wisdom. The Kshatriyas born into our race also thought that someday one of them will become the greatest Kshatriya of all. But, noble one, we too were all touched by the fear of Harasandha and awesomely by his evil. Invincible one, the strength of your arms is my refuge. When you take fright at Harasandha's power, how shall I dare think of myself as being stronger than him? Madhava, O Vrishni, I feel plunged in deception to think that not you or Balarama, not Bhimasena or Arjuna can kill Harasandha. But what shall I say, Krishna? You are my highest authority in all things. Hearing this, Bhima, skilled in speech, says, that king who, being torpid or weak and without resources, engages in battle with a strong enemy, perishes like an anthill. However, it is observed that even a weak king with vigilance and the use of stratagem can vanquish a strong enemy and gain the fruit of his every wish. In Krishna, there is stratagem. In me, there is strength. And in Arjuna, victory. So, like the three fires which accomplish a sacrifice, we shall devise the death of the king of Magadha. Now Krishna says, one whose undertaking is immature seeks the fruit of his desire, without looking to what might happen to him in the future. We observe that nobody forgives an enemy for his calumnies, one who is self-serving. We have heard that in the Krita Yuga, having subjugated the entire world, Devanaswin, through the abolition of all taxes, Bhagirath, by his kindliness towards his subjects, Kartavirya, by the force of his asceticism, the Lord Bharata, through his strength and valor, and Maruta by his prosperity, all these five became emperors. But Yudhishthira, you who wish for the imperial dignity, deserve it not merely by one, but by all these qualities, by victory, by the protection you give your people, by your virtue, your prosperity, and your policy. You know, O bull of the Gurus, that Brihadratha's son, Harasandha, is also, like you, one who wishes to and can become an emperor. 100 dynasties of kings have not been able to subdue Harasandha. Surely, for his might he can be regarded an emperor. Kings who wear royal jewels make offerings of these to Harasandha. But being evil since he was a child, he is not satisfied with her worship. He has become the most powerful king, yet he savagely attacks other kings who wear crowns upon their heads. There is no king from whom he does not take tribute, and so he has brought almost 100 kings under his sway. How, O son of Pritha, will any weak king dare confront him with hostile intentions? The king whom he has locked up, like so many animals in Shiva's temple, to sacrifice them to that god, don't they experience abject misery? A Kshatriya who dies in battle is always honored. So, why should we not combine to give battle to Harasandha? He has already taken 86 kings his captives. He needs only 14 more to make them 100. As soon as he has them, he will perform his brutal sacrifice. He who impedes that savagery will surely win blazing fame, and he who vanquishes Harasandha will become emperor of all the Kshatriyas. Oh my god. Into war, my bro. This is, oh my fucking god. This is another moment to see fucking violence. Yeah. Man. But anyways, before that, where was it, my bro? I saw something incredibly amazing here. No. This simply that. There is a very interesting concept that is when we have knowledge and we become aware about our existence, we also become aware about the threat that it represents to always chase our different interest. So, not our interest, or most immediate interest, as it talks about here. So it seems almost a parallel to what it talks about the actual psychology and so on and so forth, that what it says here, one whose undertaking is immature seeks the fruit of his desire without looking to what might happen to him in the future, as in those who are really not simply mature but also intelligent are capable of quote unquote sacrificing the present for the sake of the future, as it is important to also have a balance, and it is also more important to properly understand and to wait that when we only chase what is an immediate reward, we are not building anything else. We are only going for the most immediate thing that we can have at hand without considering what is going to happen if we were in comparison going to use our efforts in something more prosperous or more, what is the other term, more intelligent simply. So yeah, that was a very interesting take to see here out of every other place. But yeah, I mean, nothing really else. I think, you know. Let me skim this rapidly. Well, I mean, yeah, one of the only things that I talked about before. All of these, no, not all of this. This. This, basically this. Yudhishthira being almost seen as an higher entity than the rest of the Kshatriyas in this case, but almost all other humans. That he really is incredibly more powerful and more important than everybody else. So yeah, almost godlike qualities. So yeah, basically that. Interesting. But anyways, we shall continue. Canto 16. Rajasuya Ramja Barba continued. Yudhishthira says, out of my selfish desire to perform the Rajasuya Yagna and relying on just blind courage, how can I, in conscience, send you, O Krishna, to Harasandha? Bhima and Arjuna I think of as my very eyes, and you, Hanardana, as my heart. How will I live without my eyes and my heart? Not Yama can conquer Harasandha's awesome host in battle, his army endowed with dreadful valor. Besides, what can you do against that force? I fear that I fear this will lead only to tragedy. I believe that we must not undertake this task. Listen, Krishna, to what I think. Kanardana, desisting from this sacrifice seems to me the best. Ah, today my heart is distressed. To me the Rajasuya appears hard to accomplish. Arjuna, who has received the Gandiva, best of bows, a pair of inexhaustible quivers, a chariot with Hanuman's banner, as also the great Mayasabha, now says to Yudhishthira, my lord, I have won a great bow, my quivers, astras, prowess, allies, dominions, fame, and energy, all of which are difficult to gain. However, one might wish for them. Learned men always praise, in fine society, nobility of birth, but nothing is equal to might, and, O king, there is nothing I prefer to strength. He who is born into a race noted for his valor, but who himself has known, is hardly worthy of respect, while he who is born into an inferior race, but is valiant, is superior to the first. He, Rajan, is a Kshatriya in every way, who increases his fame and possessions by subjugating his enemies. He that is brave, even if he has no other merit, will conquer his enemies. However, he who has no courage, though he owns every other quality, can hardly achieve anything. Every other merit exists latently only besides valor. A focus of attention, exertion, and destiny are the three causes of victory. He that is valiant but acts rashly does not deserve success. This is why a powerful man is sometimes killed by his enemies, as meanness overtakes the weak. So does folly at times overtake the strong. So a king who wants victory must avoid both these causes of ruin. If we try to kill Harasandha and rescue the kings incarcerated by him for a savage purpose so that we might perform our Rahasuya Yagna, there is nothing nobler that we could do. Equally, if we refrain from this task, the world will forever think of us as being weak. We are surely capable, O King, so why should you think that we are not? Those who become munis, wishing to attain the peace of their souls, easily gain ochre robes. So, too, if we vanquish the enemy, we shall easily perform the Rahasuya Yagna. We must, therefore, fight Harasandha. My man, basically, yeah, have more valor, take more risk, be more confident, have confidence. But yeah, let me drink some water and we continue. So, Ibar over here. Canto 17. Rajasuya Ramja Parva. Continue. Krishna says, Arjuna has shown what the attitude should be of a prince born into the race of Mahabharata, especially a what the fuck, Cheyel? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? My man, I can understand that typo, but I can't understand this fucking random typing shit. What the fuck? Especially something. I would guess I have to pay no attention to what is there. Especially as son of Kunti, we do not know when death will overtake us, by night or by day. Neither have we ever heard that we can become immortal by evading a battle. So this is the dharma of men, to attack the enemy by principles laid down in the law, for this satisfies the heart. Context clues. What? I don't know. It is completely random what is there, my man. Do not try to justify that. But well, with wise policy, any undertaking meets with success, unless destiny frustrates this. My man, frustrates. I am stupid. Frustrates it. If two sides, both following precepts, meet in battle, one must triumph, for victory cannot belong to both. However, a battle influenced by bad policy, where one side is devoid of the renowned arts of war, must end in defeat or death. If, again, both sides are equal, the outcome is in doubt. Yet both cannot win. When this is the case, why should we not confront the enemy, guided by wise policy, and destroy him as a river in spade uproots a tree? If we disguise our own weaknesses while attacking those of the adversary, why should we not succeed? Surely the policy of wise men has always been never to engage in open warfare against a very powerful enemy at the head of his formidable forces. This is my view as well. However, if we achieve our purpose by secretly entering the home of our foe and attacking just him, we shall not find disgrace. That bull among men, Harasandha, enjoys undimmed glory. Indeed, even like him who is the Atman in the heart of all the created. But I see his dead, wishing the welfare of our kinsmen. We will either kill him in a fight, or we will ascend into heaven, being killed by him. Yudhishthira says, Krishna, who is this Harasandha? What is the secret of his power and his energy, that even having touched you, he has not been consumed like an insect by the touch of fire? Krishna says, Hear, O king, who Harasandha is, what his tejas is, what his prowess, and also why I have spared him, despite his giving me repeated offense. There was a mighty king called Brihadrata, lord of the Magadhas, invincible in battle. He had three Aukshahinis of men. Handsome he was and blessed with great vitality. He owned wealth and prowess beyond measures. Always upon his body he bore the marks of having been installed as a sacrificer at countless yagnas. He was like a second Indra. In splendor he was like Surya, in forgiveness like the earth, in wrath like Yama, and in wealth like Vaisravana. Bharatotama. The whole the whole earth was mantled by his great qualities, inherited from a long line of ancestors, covered as by rays from the suns. Endowed with great dehas, that king married twin daughters of the king of Kasi, both blessed lavishly with the wealth of beauty. That bull among men made a secret pact with his wives that he would love them equally and would never show any preference for either. And with his two precious wives, both of whom were perfectly suited to him, the Lord of the Earth spent his days in great joy, even like a mighty king elephant with two co-elephants, or like the ocean, devoted with Ganga and Yamuna. Yet, through the king yachts, yet though the king's yacht passed thus in delight, he had no son to continue his line. Although he performed countless auspicious rites, homas and yagnas to that end, one day Brihadrata heard that the lofty-souled Chandakausika, son of Kakshivat of the illustrious race of Gautama, had ceased his tapasya and had come on his wanderings to the king's city, and now sat in the shade of a mango tree, taking his wives with him. The king went to that Muni and worshipped him with offerings of jewels and other valuable gifts, which pleased the sage repeated greatly. What the fuck? Where did I extract that repeatedly? What? I don't know. What? Sorry. That best of rishis, always truthful, indeed devoted to the truth, said to Brihadrata, King of kings, I am pleased with you. Ask me for a boon, O you of excellent Varatas. Brihadrata and his wives prostrated before the rishi, and his voice tearful from his despair at having no son, the king said, Holy One, I am about to leave my kingdom and go into the forest to sit in tapasya. Ah, I am a most unfortunate man that I have no son. So what will I do, O Maharishi, with a kingdom? Hearing this, the Muni restrained his senses and entered into deep dhyana, where he sat in the shade of the mango tree. Into the sage's lap there fell a juicy mango, untouched by the beak of a parrot or any bird. That best of Munis took the mango and, breathing some silent mantras over it, gave the fruit to the king, so he could have a peerless child. The Mahamuni, of exceptional wisdom, said to Brihadrata, Go back, O king, for your wish is fulfilled. Do not leave your kingdom and go into the forest. In joy, Brihadrata worshipped the feet of the sage and returned to his palace. He remembered his old promise to his wives that he would never make any difference between them, and Bharatari the king gave that mango to them both. His exquisite wings divided that fruit into halves and ate it. Because of the moon's powers, because he could never utter a lie, both wings became pregnant after eating the mango, and Brihadrata's joy knew no bounds. When that time came, both wings gave birth, each to a divided child. Each half had one eye, one arm, one leg, half a stomach, half a face, and half an anus. The mothers looked at what they had brought forth and shivered in fear. In great sorrow, the mothers decided to abandon the stillborn halves of a child. Their two midwives carefully swaddled the two lifeless pieces and, leaving the palace instead through a back door at the dead of night, left the parcels outside at a crossing of streets and hurried back. Purush Viagra. A while later, a Rakshasical Hara, a cannibal who lived on human flesh and blood, found the two halves of the abandoned child and picked them up to take them outside the city. She put them together so she could carry them more easily. When, oh bull among men, there was a flash of light, and the two halves were united into a magnificent, now-breathing child. Now her eyes wide with amazement, the Rakshasi found that she could not make off with the human child, whose body was as hard and powerful as the Vajra, the thunderbolt of adamant. That infant clenched his hands into fists red as copper, thrust them into his mouth, and began to roar as dreadfully as rain-charged thunderheads. Alarmed by the sound, the king and others living in his palace came out. The dejected and grieving queens emerged as well, their breasts suddenly welling with milk to have back their child. The Rakshasi saw the queens who wanted their child back. She saw the king who was desperate for a son. She felt the strength of the child in her arms, and she thought, I live in the domain of this king who is so anxious to have a son, and it does not become me to kill the infant of such a great and good king. The Rakshasi held the child in her arms even as clouds enfold the sun, and, quickly assuming a human form, came before the king and said to him, Brihadrata, this is your child. I give him to you. Here, take him. He has been born through the virtue of your wives and the blessing of the great Brahmana. The midwives abandoned him in the night, but I have given him refuge. Receiving their son, the lovely daughters of the king of Kasi soon drenched him in mother's milk. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why that description, my man? Okay, why that description? It was going fine. When the king knew everything that had happened, he was full of joy, and he spoke to the Rakshasi, who had assumed the form of a human woman with a golden complexion. Oh, you who have the complexion of a lotus filament, who are you that returns my son to me? Auspicious one, to me you seem like a goddess ranging the earth at your whim. Oh my god, he discovered her. Oh no, this is so bad. But anyways, let me continue. Canto 18. Rahasuya Ramka Parva continued. Krishna continues. Hearing this, the Rakshasi answered, May you be blessed, O King of Kings. I am the Rakshasi Hara, who can take any form that I choose. I live contentedly in your realm and am revered by everyone, for I go from house to house of men and bring them fortune. The Svayambhuva, oh my god, the Svayambhuva Brahma created me of old, and I was called Grihadevi, the goddess of earth and home. I had celestial beauty, and I was sent to the world to destroy the Danavas. He who draws like a likeness of me upon the walls of his house, a likeness full of youth and in the midst of children, shall indeed have prosperity in his home. Otherwise, his household will suffer decay and ruin. O king, on a wall of your palace is a picture of me surrounded by children, which is worshipped daily with flowers and perfumes, with incense, offerings of food, and other things of enjoyment. Since I am so adored in your home, I think daily of doing you some great good in return. It happened, good king, that I saw the halves of your child born into pieces. When I put them together, a living child was made, great king. This transpired only because of your good fortune, and I was merely its instrument. I can swallow Mount Meru if I choose. What then to say of this child? But you have gratified me, the worship. But you have gratified me with the worship which you offer me in your home, and so I give you back your son. With these words, Rahan, the Rakshasi, vanished, having received his son. Brihadrata returned to his palace, where he had all the rites of infancy performed. He ordered his people to observe an annual festival to honor the Rakshasi. Then that king, who was as Brahma's equal, named his son Harasandha, he who had been joined by Hara. Harasandha of Magadha grew in size and strength like a fire fed with libations of ghee, growing day by day, even like the moon waxing during the bright fortnight of the month. The child swelled his parents' joy. Very fine. I mean, it probably happens that I really don't get the language or something like that. But um, did Hara tell the truth or not? I didn't get that. Basically, she ended up telling him that she was going to fucking eat her son, his son, sorry, or not. I didn't get that. I guess she did, no? I guess. But, or well, by that same reasoning, why did she tell him about that? Why did she say that it was nice? What I don't know. Anyways, let me see. Canto 19. Rajasuya Ramchaparva continued. Krishna says, sometime later, the noble Maharishi Chandakausika came again to the land of the Magadhas, joyful at his advent. King Brihadrata went out to welcome him, taking his ministers and priests and wives and so on. O Bharata, who worshipped the sage with Patya and Argya, and then offered his entire kingdom to him, and also his son, receiving graciously the king's worship and well pleased with it. That holy Rishi said to the sovereign of Magadha, wasn't it Magadha? Magadha now? Magadha. I will call it Magadha, bro. I know everything that has happened with spiritual vision, but listen, O King of Kings, to what these sons of yours will become, and also what his beauty, excellence, strength, and valor should be. Have no doubts that, blessed with fortune and growing prowess, he will have all this, just as other birds can never match the speed of Vinata's son Garuda. The other kings of the world will never be able to equal the Tejas of your heroic son. All that stands in his way he will raise, even as the force of a cataract makes no dent upon a mountain's breast of rock. Weapons cast at him, even by the Devas, will cause him no injury or pain. He will blaze forth over the heads of all that wears crowns. As the sun dims the luster of the stars, your prince will rob the glory of every other monarch. Even the mighty kings, who own great armies and countless chariots and beasts, will perish like moths in a flame when they confront your son. This child will seize the burgeoning fortune of every other king, as the oceans receive the swollen waters of rivers during the monsoon. As the vast earth bears all manners of things, this child of inordinate strength will support the four Varnas. Even as every creature born with a body depends on precious Vayu, dear as the Ratman to live, so will the king of the world depend on your son. This prince of Magadha, mightiest of all men in the world, will see with his human eyes the god of gods, Rudra, Hara, destroyer of the Tripura, Parantapa. With this, Chandkaushika, dismiss king. My man, why it is so hard to read this? Why are there so many misspellings and similar shit? This gets boring at some points, you know? I am trying to read properly. Put the commas here, my man. Anyways. Parantapa. With this, Chandkaushika dismissed King Brihadrata and turned back to his own ascetic pursuits. The lord of the Magadhas went back into his capital and, gathering all his friends and kinsfolk, installed Harasangha upon his throne. Very soon, King Brihadrata began to feel a sharp aversion for all worldly pleasures. When he had made Harasangha king, he and his two wives went away into the forest and began living in an asarama. Rahan, when his father took sannyasa, Harasangha, through his matchless valor, brought many kings under his sway. King Brihadrata lived for some years in the forest, in Tapasya, before finally rising into Swarga with his wives. King Harasangha had all the boons that Chandrakausika foretold, and ruled his people like a father. Some years later, When I, Krishna, killed Kamsa, enmity arose between Harasandha and me, O Mahabharata. From his city, Giribraka, the king of Magadha, wielded a great mace 90 times over his head and flung it at Mathura. I lived in Mathura then. The beautiful mace, which Harasandha held all the way from Giribraha, flew 99 yohanas and landed near Mathura. Seeing it, the people rushed to me to tell me about the fall of the mace. The place where that mace fell next to Mathura is called Gadabasan. Harasandha had two staunch supporters, Hansa and Dimhaka, both invincible to all weapons. They were masters of politics and dharma, and in council they were the most intelligent among all men. I have already told you all about that awesome pair. The two of them and Harasandha together, I believe, were more than a match for the three worlds. This was why the powerful Kukura and Haka and Brishni tribes, out of discretion, did not consider it wise to fight Harasandha. Okay, fine. Canto 20, Harasandha Vadha Parva. Krishna says, Hansa and Dimhaka have both fallen, Kamsa and all his followers have been slain, so the time has come to kill Harasandha, but he cannot be killed in battle, even by the Devas and the Asuras, even if they combine. However, I think that he can be vanquished in single combat. What is happening? In single combat. In me there is policy, in Bhima is strength, and in Arjuna there is victory. So, as prelude to your performing the Rajasuya Yagna, we will surely destroy the king of Magadha. We three shall go to him secretly, and he will certainly fight one of us. Because he is proud and fears ignominy, he will choose to fight Bhima, and like Death himself, who kills a man swollen with pride, long-armed and mighty Bhima will kill the king of Magadha. If you know my heart, and if you have any faith in me, then give me Arjuna and Bhima without delay. Yudhishthira sees how cheerfully Bhima and Arjuna stay beside him, and cries, Achyuta, O Achyuta Parantapa, do not say this to me. You're the lord of the Pandavas, and we depend only on you. What you say, Govinda, is always wisdom. You never walk at the head of those whom fortune has abandoned. I, who am yours to command, consider Harasandha already dead and the kings he holds captive already set free, and that I have already performed the Rajasuya, Lord of the universe. Purushottama, go forth vigilantly so that this mission is accomplished. I cannot live without you, like a man stricken by disease and deprived of dharma, artha, and kama. Arjuna cannot live without Sauri, nor can Krishna live without Partha. Neither is there anything in this world which these two cannot conquer. Then this handsome Bhima is the strongest man in the world, of great renown. What is there that he cannot achieve with the two of you? When well-led troops excel at war. An army without a leader is lifeless, say the wise. So, armies must always be led by commanders of experience. The wise channel water into low-lying lands. Even fishermen cause water to leak out through holes in the tank. We too shall attempt to achieve our purpose under the leadership of this Krishna, who knows politics, whose fame spreads through the world. Indeed, to succeed at any venture, one should always set Krishna in the van. This Purushottama, whose power consists of both wisdom and strategy, and who knows both methods and means. So, to achieve our purpose, let Prita son Arjuna follow. Let Prita son Arjuna follow Krishna, best of the Yadavas, and let Bhima follow Arjuna. Through wise policy, good fortune, and prowess, we will find success in this purpose, which needs great valor. When Yudhishthira says this, Krishna, Arjuna, and Bhima, almighty the husbands, set out for Magadha. their splendid bodies, clothed in the garb of Sanataka Brahmanas, and with the blessings and encouraging words of friends and kinsmen. Great is their splendor anyway, and their bodies, already like the sun, the moon, and fire, blaze brighter for being inflamed by wrath at the plight of the kings, their king, imprisoned by Harasandha. The people see Krishna and Arjuna, neither of whom have even been defeated in battle, with Bhima at their head, all three going forth to accomplish one mission, and they think of Harasandha as being already dead, for the illustrious two are masters who direct everything that happens in all the worlds, as well as all things concerning the Dharma, Artha, and Kama of every creature. Setting out from the land of the Kurus, they pass through Kurukhangala and arrive at the charmed lake of lotuses, crossing the hills of Kalakuta. They then pass over the Gandaki, the Sadanira, the Sarkarava. My man, how many names there are? Okay. The Sarkaravarta and the other rivers, all of which spring from the same mountains. They then cross the lovely Sarayu and see the country of eastern Kosala. Passing through the kingdom, they come to Mithila, then crossing the Mala and Charamangwati, the three heroes, ford the Ganga and the Sona, and continue eastwards. Finally, the Shuras, heroes of undeemed glory, arrive at Magadha at the heart of Kushamba, coming to the hills of Goratha. They see well below the capital city of Magadha, always replete with cows, wells, water, and beautiful with the countless trees which grow there. There it is. I think I need to sneeze, so if you excuse me just a second. Yeah, I need it. I knew it. So, anyways, can I really say anything? I don't think I can properly give any more to what is being said over here. I think, but so far it is still incredibly interesting. I will say. I guess the part that has the most interesting conceptions or concepts at the very least is, or what stuck to me, sorry, was the concept of this guy, Harasandha, being so good to his people and still being despised by others. Like, why is there no more deepening on that? Because you're almost making him look bad, when in reality, to his people, he didn't seem to be that bad. Or he was even revered properly. He was considered an incredibly good king to his people. So, what is the differentiating factor between Harasandha and Yudhishthira? What is the difference there? Like, from the outside, don't they seem almost like the same? I mean, one of the guys of Yudhishthira literally killed somebody because he was bored, and not even one guy. Bhima himself went and killed one deity for the sake of, oh, you know what? I simply want to quote unquote liberate a city from a ritual that they need to perform. How much of a difference is there between those kind of actions and what Harasandha does? I don't know. Anyways, let us try to continue a little bit more. After I drink water. What a nice thing it is to be hydrated. So, Canto 21. Harasandha Vadha Parva continuing. Krishna says, "Look, Partha, at the great capital of Magadha in all its splendor. Rich are its flocks and herds, and inexhaustible its store of water. The finest mansions adorn its streets." Botleg, crane raid. What? Botleg? 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 Also, hello, crane. I, I think. Wait. I think the problem is that I think I know why I didn't get a right message. I guess I didn't change the setting to make it to allow people who isn't younger than 30 days or something like that, I guess. But anyways, thank you for the for the attempt of reading. Welcome. Here we are reading the Mahabharata. So, yeah, I lost myself. I think I was over here. Free from all the calamities and evil, the five mountains. Wait, no. Sorry for that. Crane, I hope you had a good stream. If you want to tell us what happened, we are all ears. It simply happens that I forgot. And if not, you can go and rest without any problem, my man. Thank you for that. Now, real. Let me continue. Sorry for forgetting. The finest mansions adorn its streets, free from all calamities and evil. The five mountains, Vaihara, Varaha, Vishabha, Rishigiri, and the enchanting Chaitya, all with towering peaks, overgrown with great and lofty trees, intertwined and of cool shade. All these seem to protect the city of Giribraha together. The breast of all these hills are covered by delightful trees of Lodhara forest. Lodhra forest, fragrant, their branch ends profuse with flowers. Here the lustrous Gautama of stern bows begot on Ausinari, the Sudra woman, Kakshivat, and other sons of great renown. It only goes to reflect Gautama's mercy on human kings that the race sprung from him still lives under their mortal sway. Arjuna, it was here that, in elder days, the mighty sovereigns of Anga, Banga, and other lands came to the ashrama of Gautama and spent their days in joy. Look, Partha, at this enchanting forest of pipalas and lovely lodhras, which surround the hermitages of Gautama Muni. Long ago, the Nagas, Arbuda, and Sakrapavain, how? Sakrapaven, Aulias Sakrapaven lived here. Those Parantapas, as did the excellent Nagas Swastika and Mani. Manu himself had ordained that the land of the Magadhas will never feel the scourge of any drought, and Kaushika and Manimat also blessed this country. Being master of this beautiful and impregnable city, Harasandha, unlike other kings, is bent on fulfilling his vile purpose. But we will kill him and crush his pride. I mean, my man, that sounds incredibly not terrible, but evil. That is the word. Incredibly evil. What is the difference between what they are doing and I don't know what? My man. With that, those mighty husbands, the Vrishi and the two Pandavas, approach Giribraha, impregnable capital of Magadha, teeming with cheerful, well-fed people of all the four Varnas, Giribraha of perennial festivities. Upon arriving at the city gates, instead of entering peaceably, the cousins assault the sacred Chaityaka peak, which the race of Brihadrata as well as the people of Giribraha worship, and which gladdens the hearts of all Magadhans. Once Brihadrata killed the Rakshasa Rishabha upon that peak and made 3 great drums out of his hide, which he set up in Giribraha. Those drums, once struck, resound for a full month after. Krishna and the Pandavas tear down Krishna and the Pandavas tear down the peak of Chaityaka, the joy and pride of the Magadhas, and bring it down over those drums covered by the blooms of heaven. The drums which never stop reverberating, they who have come to kill Harasandha, it seems, set their foot upon their enemy's head by what they do, having attacked that celebrated, ancient, immovable massive, always adored with perfumes and garlands, with awesome arms, breaking it down, the three heroes joyfully march into Giribraha. The Brahmanas inside the city see many evil omens, which they hasten to report to Harasandha. The chief priest makes the king mount an elephant and, blazed by light brands around him, Harasandha, of untold prowess, wants to keep the evil omens signified at bay. Enters into a yagna with every apposite vow he fasts. Meanwhile, Bharata, the brothers unarmed, rather with their own bare arms, their only weapons, enter the city disguised as Snataka, Brahmanas. They come seeking single combat with Harasandha. They see how marvelously elegant are the shops, full of garlands and various delicacies to eat, indeed, replete with everything that any man's heart could desire. Looking at those affluent and excellent shops, the Purushottamas Krishna, Bhima, and Ananjaya walk along the public highway. Suddenly, they of untold strength begin to forcibly snatch the garlands that the flower vendors have hung up for sale, wearing colorful robes and earrings. Putting on the garlands, the heroes walk into the abode of Harasandha of lofty intellect, even like Himalayan lions in cattle folds. What? I don't know. Rahan, smeared with sandalwood paste, the arms of those Kshatriyas look like the trunks of sala trees. The people of Magadha see those magnificent trees, powerful as elephants, their necks thick as sala trees, chests wide, and are wonderstruck. The Purushari Shabhas pass through three crowded gates where men throng, and in great heart and cheer approach Harasandha hotly. Harasandha gets up in haste and receives them with patya, madhurpaka, and other ingredients of aragya. He offers them gifts of kind and shows them every reverence. Says that great king to them, "Be welcome." O Hanamehaya, Partha and Bhima remain silent, while Krishna replies, "King of kings, these two have sworn a vow of silence, and they will not speak until midnight. After that hour, they will talk to you." Harasandha houses his guests in the apartments of sacrifice and returns to his royal chambers. At the midnight hour, the king returns to his guests, who wear the attire of Brahmanas, for that invincible monarch keeps strictly his vow that, even if it be the midnight hour, he will grant audience to any Snataka Brahmanas who arrive in his court. O Bharata, seeing that extraordinary attire of his guest, that best among kings is puzzled, yet he waits upon them patiently, respectfully, silently. Those Purusharishabhas, the Triparantapas, on the other hand, see Harasan Khan say, "O king, may you attain moksha without any great effort." Tiger among kings, with that they fall silent, staring. Rahat Hiraha Harasandha says to those Pandavas and the Yadava, all disguised as Brahmanas, pray, be seated. Those Narapungavas sit themselves down, and they blaze with beauty like the three main priests of a great sacrifice. Harasandha, always devoted to truth, now softly censures his guest in disguise, saying, "Well do I know that, throughout the world, Brahmanas who keep this Snataka Vrata never deck their persons with garlands and fragrant paste unseasonably. So who are you, adorned with flowers, and your hands bearing the mark of the bowstring, wearing colored robes, wearing flowers and sandalwood paste out of season? You tell me that you're Brahmanas, although you have the bearing of Kshatriyas." What the fuck? Sorry for that. I almost died. Drink water. What the fuck? Check with Hera later on. Tell me truly who you are. Truth embellishes even kings. Why, breaking the peak of the Chaitiyaka, have you come in here, disguised and through an unlawful gate, without fear of my royal wrath? The Brahmanas Tejas dwells in his speech. What you did is not suited to the Varna to which you profess to belong. Therefore, tell me what is your purpose? You have arrived here unlawfully. Why do you disdain the worship that I offer you? What motive have you for coming here? Thus addressed by the king, Krishna Mahatman, that most eloquent one, replies calmly and gravely. Krishna says, O king, no, we are Snataka Brahmanas. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas are all allowed to observe the Snataka Vrata. Besides, this vow has numerous rules governing it, both general and particular. A Kshatriya who keeps this vow with special observances finds great prosperity. Therefore, we have decked ourselves in flowers. Also, Kshatriyas show their prowess not with words but deeds. That is why, O son of Brihadrata, a Kshatriya never speaks audaciously. Brahma has invested in the Kshatriya his own Tejas, implanted it in the purpose of the warrior. If you wish to see it today, you shall. This is the code of the Kshatriya, that the house of an enemy must be entered through the unlawful gate, and a friend's house through the proper one. Know also that having entered our enemy's house through the illegal gate to accomplish our purpose, we are sworn not to accept the worship offered to us. What? Like, they are not going to reveal that they are Kshatriyas, something like that? I don't know. Canto 22. Harasandha Badha Parva continued. Harasandha says, I do not remember having ever done you an I mean, this is played with fucking typos and similar shit. This is a painful thing. Anyways, Harasandha says, I do not remember having ever done you any injury. Even after thinking carefully about it, I do not recall what harm I ever did you when I have never wanted you, Brahmanas. Why do you think of me as your enemy? Answer me honestly, for that is the way of the righteous. The mind feels pain at any harm done to one's artha and dharma. The Kshatriya who injures an innocent man's pleasure of or morality, let him not be a great warrior otherwise, and a master of every aspect of dharma. He, beyond doubt, finds the fate of sinners and falls away from fortune and grace. The ways of the Kshatriyas are the noblest among all men of dharma in the three worlds. Indeed, all who know dharma acclaim the code of the Kshatriya. I follow the laws of my Varna and never harm any who live under my rule. So, by bringing this charge against me, it seems that you speak in error. Krishna says, Mahabaho, there is one in this world who is sovereign of a certain royal line, and who upholds the honor of his race. We have come against you at his command. You have brought many Kshatriyas of the world here to your city as your prisoners. How can you still think of yourself as a man of Dharma after what you have done? Best of kings, how can one king sin thus against other righteous kings? But you treat other kings savagely and seek to offer them as human sacrifice to the Lord Rudra. O son of Brihadrata, the sin you have committed touches me as well, for I am with Dharma and I can protect Dharma. Killing human beings as a sacrifice to the gods is unheard of. So why do you wish to offer the lives of 100 kings to the Lord Sankara? You are treating noblemen who belong to your own Varna like animals. You are a fool, Harasandha, for who else would behave in this wise? One always finds the fruit of whatever one does, under whatever circumstances. Therefore, since you are sworn to protect and help all those in distress, we have come here for the well of our to kind, sorry, to kill you and prevent the slaughter of the captive kings or kinsmen. You believe that there is no man among the Kshatriyas who can match you. You are gravely mistaken in this, Rahan. There is no Kshatriya born who will not, thinking of his noble ancestry and birth, gladly ascend into heaven, which has no like anywhere on earth, by dying in battle. No, Purusha Rishabha, that Kshatriyas fight battles like men performing yagnas with Swarga as their goal, and thus quell the whole world. Studying the Vedas, performing tapasya, and dying in battle are all deeds which led to heaven. Finding Swarga through the first two might not be certain, but for those who die in battle, heaven is assured. Death in battle inexorably brings triumph to equal Indra's. Countless gains accrue from dying in battle. It is through battle that Indra of the thousand yagnas became who he is. It is why he vanquishes the Asuras and rules the three worlds. You are so full of hubris about the untold might of your Megadha host. You open hostility against you must surely lead only to heaven. Do not underestimate other men, for valor dwells in everyone. Rahan, there are many whose valor might well equal or even exceed your own. It is only because they are not as renowned as you that your valor is noted. We can bear your strength, so I say to you, King of Magadha, do not act like a superior. You are in the presence of your peers. Do not attempt fate and go, along with your children, your ministers and your legion, into Yama's land. Damhot. What? I like the proper training to pronounce this. Damhot. No. What? I can't say it. Yeah. Yeah. The first time I truly find something that I can't even try to pronounce. This is so sad. Oh no. That word. Damhot. Baja, Kartavirya, Uttara, and Brihadrata were kings who met death with all their forces because they underestimated their superiors. We who have come to liberate the kings you hold as captives, no, are surely not Brahmanas. I am Hirisikesa, also called Sauri, and these two heroes among men are the sons of Pandu, Lord of Magadha. We challenge you, stand before us and fight. Either free all the kings or go to Yamaloka. Harasandha says, I never make a captive of a king without vanquishing him in battle. Who have I held here whom I have not first defeated in war? Krishna. It has been told that this is the dharma which every Kshatriya must follow, to bring others under his sway by force of arms, and then to treat them as his slaves. I have collected these kings in order to sacrifice them to God. Who will I now free them out of fear today, especially after I have told you what Kshatriya Dharma is? With troops against troops, arrayed in battle formation, or alone against one of you, or alone against two, or all three of you, simultaneously or separately, I am ready to fight. Saying this, and eager to have battle with those three warriors of dreadful achievements, Harasandha has his son, another Sahadeva, installed upon his throne. Then Mahabharata on the brink of battle, that king remembered his two generals Kausika and Chitrasena. These two were once known throughout the world, reverentially as Hansa and Dimhaka, and Rahan, that tiger among men, the Lord Sauri, who is always devoted to the truth, that slayer of Madhu, Haradhara's younger brother, Krishna, greatest of men, who have perfectly controlled their senses, remembering Brahma's command and knowing that the Lord of Magadha is destined to be killed in single combat by Bhima and not by any Yadava, does not wish to himself kill Harasandha, most powerful of men, blessed with strength. that hero endowed with the strength of a tiger, that Kshatriya of terrible valor. Balarama's plowshare weapon, plowshare, I don't know, Balarama's plowshare weapon is the Halayudha, so he's Haradhara, bearer of the plow. Yeah. That, yes? Remember that. Anyways, Canto 23, Harasandha Vadha Parava continued. By Sampayana said, then, thus best of orators, Krishna of the Yadava clan, says to Harasandha, who is resolved to fight, Rahan, which of us three will you fight? Which of us should prepare for combat with you? The splendid king of Magadha says that he will do battle with Bhima. Now his priest fetches the yellow pigment got from the cow, garlands of flowers, and every other auspicious thing, as well as the best specifics for restoring consciousness and relieving pain. To Harasandha, eager for combat, a celebrated Brahmana performs initiatory rites for Harasandha with all blessings, and thinking of the dharma of a Kshatriya, the king readies himself for battle. He takes off his crown, ties up his hair, and rises like an ocean which would burst apart its continents. That sovereign of dreadful prowess says to Bhima, I will fight you, for it is honorable to be vanquished by a superior man. With that, Harasandha rushes at Bhima, even as the Ashura Bala of old did at the king of the Devas. Krishna invokes the gods on behalf of the mighty Bhimasena, his cousin. Having taken counsel with Krishna, Bhima also advances upon Harasandha, keen for battle. Tempted to Prushavyagras, those Kshatriyas of untold prowess, their bare arms, their only weapons, joyfully lock in combat, each one eager to quell the other. Grasping each other's arms, locking legs, at times slapping armpits in self-exhortation, they make the arena where they face each other tremble. Often they lay hold of each other's necks and push and heave violently this way and that. They press every limb against a limb of the adversary. They continue to slap their own armpits in exultation and defiance, at times extending their arms, at others withdrawing them, now lifting them high, now dropping them low. They circle and seize each other, neck thrust against neck, brow striking brow. Roughly, they make sparks fly from armor and headpieces like flashes of lightning, grasping each other with many holds with their arms, lashing out with kicks violent enough to reach their inmost marmas. They also strike each other's chest with clenched fists, roaring like thunderheads. They fight as two maddened elephants might with their trunks. Incensed by each other's blows, on they fight, hauling, pulling, dragging, ferociously, glaring like two angry lions. Every limb of the other each one strikes, using arms, mighty legs, seizing one another by the waist. They fling each other far with awesome force, accomplish wrestlers' bows. The two Kshatriyas pull and shove and grasp each other with violent force. Then those heroes perform the most difficult of all feats in wrestling, Tristabhanga, where they throw each other face down into the ground and keep the fallen antagonist so for as long as possible. With their arms, they also perform the Sampurna Murcha and Purna Kumbha. At times, they wring each other's arms and other limbs as if these are vegetable fibers to be twisted into cords. At others, fist clench, they strike thunderous blows upon other parts of their opponents' bodies than those at which they appear to aim. So battle those heroes and the citizens, thousands of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Sudras, and even women and the old, O Prushabhyagra, come out and gather around to watch the titanic duel. Quickly, the crowd swells until it is great and a single solid mass of humanity, no space between body and body. The sounds the wrestle make, while slapping their arms, seizing each other's necks to throw one another down, grabbing each other's legs, also to fling the adversary to the ground. All these are so loud that they resemble the roar of thunder, or of cliffs breaking and falling. Both of them are the greatest among the strong and delight greatly in this encounter, keen to prevail. Each watches alert to take advantage of the slighted lapse by the other. And, O king, the son Bhima and Harasandha fight ferociously in those lists, at times driving the crowd back by waving their hands. They fight even like Indra and Britra did of old, drawing forward, thrusting back, and with sudden twist, flinging each other down onto face or side. They wound each other savagely. At times they strike with bent and vicious knees while roaring at each other, stinging taunts and insults. They strike at each other with fists, the blows descending like the weight of rocks, with bull-like shoulders, long arms, and both masters of wrestling. They strike each other with those arms that are like maces of iron. On the first day of the lunar month of Kartika begins the duel between the two heroes, and the illustrious Kshatriyas battle on, never passing, not to eat. They battle on by night and day, until the 13th day of the moon. However, on the night of the 14th day, the Lord of Magadha calls a halt from fatigue, and Krishna says beatingly to Bhima of terrible deeds, Kaunteya, an enemy who's tired must not be pressed, for if he is, he might even die of exhaustion. So, son of Kunti, you must not press this king while he is tired. Bhima, put forth only as much strength as he can now summon into his arms. Fight him only with such strength as he has. Bull of the Bharatas. Bhima Parantapa understands at once what Krishna means, and he knows the time has come to kill Harasandha. Bhima, strongest of all strong men, gathers himself, all his strength and valor, that prince of the Kurus, to bring down that hitherto vanquish Harasandha. Let's fucking go! Canto 24, Harasandha Vadha Parva continued. By Sampayana said, deciding to kill Harasandha, Bhima answers Krishna, Yadavyaragara, O Krishna, I will not relent against this wretch among kings, who yet stands before me, strong enough and bent upon the fight. I will no show mercy him. Krishna, who wants to exhort that hero to kill Harasandha, swiftly says, Bhima, today show some of the strength which you have from your father Maruta Deva. Bhima Parantapa seizes Harasandha, lifts him above his head, and begins whirling that king around dizzily. Bharatari Shapra, having whirled him around fully 100 times, Bhima thrusts his knee into Harasandha's spine and breaks his body in two, killing the Magadhan thus. Brikodara gives a dreadful roar, which mingles with Harasandha roars as his back snaps, at which there is a loud uproar which strikes fear into every creature's heart. The people of Magadha are speechless for fear, and many women even give birth prematurely. Hearing those roars, the people think that either Himavad is crumbling, or even the earth herself is being rent asunder. Then those scourges of all their enemies leave the lifeless body of Harasandha at the palace gate, where he lies as one asleep, and they go out of the city. Krishna has Harasandha's chariot of the fine flagstaff, readied, and makes Bhima and Arjuna ride in it. Together they go and set the imprisoned kings, their kinsmen, free. Saved from certain death, those kings come to Krishna and offer him priceless gifts of jewels, every manner of gemstone. Having vanquished his enemy, Krishna, unscattered, bearing every kind of weapon, and accompanied by the kings he had freed, emerges from Giribraha riding in Harasandha's unearthly chariot. The ambidextrous Sabyasachi, whom not all the kings of the world can contain, the extraordinarily handsome and inexorable Arjuna, with Bhima of untold strength, also comes out of the citadel of Magadha. Krishna drives the chariot in which the brothers ride, and it is splendid, for it is the very Ratha in which, of old, Indra and Vishnu fought against the Asuras because of Brihaspati wife Tara, and great blood was spilled. Riding in that chariot, now Krishna comes out of the hill fort. That Ratha has the luster of molten gold. It is lined with rows of tinkling, exquisite bells, and its wheels clatter as thunderclouds rumble. It is always triumphant, always vanquishes the enemy against which it is driven. It is the same chariot riding in which Indra slew 99 great Asuras in the elder days. The three Purushavyagras are delighted to have that chariot. The people of Magadha see long-armed Krishna and the two brothers with him in the chariot and are wonderstruck. Mahabharata, that Ratha is yoked to celestial steeds, which own the speed of the wind, and with Krishna driving it, it is indescribably beautiful. Upon that best of all chariots is an uncanny flagstaff which stands without being physically or visibly attached, for it is a thing created with the art of heaven. It can be seen, glorious as a rainbow, from a Johanna away. While emerging from Giribraha, Krishna thinks of Garuda. Remembered by his master, Garuda arose down to him in a wing, and he is like a great tree of vast proportions, standing in the heart of a village and being worshipped by all. Garuda, from tall heaviness, who preys on snakes, sits upon that finest of chariots, alongside numberless open-mouthed and frightfully roaring creatures upon its flagstaff, at which the greatest of chariots is even more resplendent, so brilliant that it is impossible to be looked upon by any being, even as is the midday sun of 1,000 rays, and O King, that best of flagstaff of unearthly creation is such that never would it strike any tree, and nor could any weapon ever pierce it, even though all men see it plain. Achyuta, tiger among men, riding with the two sons of Pandu in the divine chariot, whose wheels sound like spring clouds rumbling, emerges from Giribraha. The Ratha which Krishna drives had once been received by King Vasu from Vasava, and from Vasu by Brihadratha, and from him by Harasandha in course of time. Coming out of Giribraha, he of the long arms, eyes like lotus petals, and luminous fame stops on a level plain outside the city. Then all the people rest there, O Rahan, with the Brahmanas at their head, hurrying there to worship him with every religious ritual. The king who had been freed adore Madhusana reverently, and eulogizing him, say, O long Arno, we are plunged in that deep mire of grief in this land of Harasandha, and you have saved us, Devakinandana. How extraordinary is this deed of yours, with Arjuna and Bhima to help you. O Vishnu, belongish in the fell hill fortress of Harasandha. Surely it was only by your greatest good fortune that you rescued us, O scion of the Yadavas, and swell your fame by this deed. Purusharayavgara, we vow to you, your wish is our command. Say what you want us to do, and however difficult it might be, O Lord, we shall do it. When the kings speak thus to him, the Mahatman Rishikesa reassures them and then says, Yudhishthira wishes to perform the Rajasuya Yagna, that king who always walks the way of Dharma, wants to acquire imperial dignity. I say to you, help him in his endeavor. Joyfully those kings accept what Krishna says, crying, so be it. Saying this, those lords of the earth give gifts of jewels to him of the Dasarha race. Moved by their kindness, Govinda takes but a portion of them. Then Harasandha's son, the noble Sahadeva, accompanied by his kinsmen and main officers of state, and with his priest going before him, comes to that place, bending low, offering lavish gifts of jewels and precious gems. He worships Krishna, God among men. Krishna gently reassures the weeping prince and accepts those priceless gifts. Joyfully, there and then, Krishna installs Sahadeva as king of Magadha. Having been made king by the greatest of men, and having gained Krishna's friendship, Harasandha's mighty arm and illustrious son is shown every kindness and respect by the two sons of Pritha. He re-enters his father's city, re-enters. What? Laden with jewels, Krishna, the sons of Pandu with him, and great fortune attending upon him, leaves the capital of Magadha. And with the two Pandavas, Achyuta arrives in Indraprastha and, going to Yudhishthira, says in joy to that king, Rahotama, by good fortune, Bhima has killed the mighty Harasandha, and all the kings in prison in Giribraha have been freed. From good fame, also, these two, Bhima and Dhananjaya, are well and have returned to their city, O Mahabharata, without injury. Yudhishthira worships Krishna as he deserves and embraces Bhima and Arjuna in joy. Ajatasattu, the king who has no enemy, has found victory because of his brothers and the death of Harasandha, and he gives himself up to celebration in the company of all his brothers. Pandu's eldest son, with his brothers, greets the kings who have come to Indraprastha, welcoming and honoring each according to his age. After the kings have been entertained duly, they depart immediately in fine chariots with joyful hearts and the leave of Yudhishthira. Thus, Janardana, tiger among men of fathomless intellect, caused the death of his enemies Harasandha at the hands of the Pandavas. O Mahabharata, having seen Harasandha slain, that Parantapa, scourge of every foe, takes his leave of Yudhishthira and Parita, Draupadi and Subhadra, Bhimasena and Arjuna, and the twins Nakula and Sahadeva. When he finally bids farewell to Dhananjaya, again he sets out for his own city, Dwaparaka, riding in that best of chariots, of unearthly craft, swift as the mind, given to him by Yudhishthira, the rata which fills the 10 points of the horizon with the rumble of its wheel. O Bharata Rishabha, just before Krishna goes forth, the Pandavas, with Yudhishthira at their head, walk around him in reverent Pradakshina. When the Vaga's illustrious son leaves Indraprastha after his magnificent triumph and having dispelled the terror of the kings, that feat swells the renown of the Pandavas. Rajan, the sons of Pandu, pass their days, always gladdening Draupadi's heart, and during that time, all that is just and in accordance with Dharma, Kama and Artha are practiced piously by Yudhishthira, while attending to his duty of protecting his people. Oh my man. Yeah. We have we have the next. We start with a new paragraph, my man. How much did I read today? 2 hours and almost half. Let me see. Because I would be surprised, but just in case I want to check. Is this, just in case, is this a short paragraph or not? 1, 2. Let me see. 3. No, I think 3 is already long. If it is 4 or more, we are continuing. Yeah, 4 or more. So yeah, we're continuing with this another time. We already did more than enough then. Man, what a beautifully written story. I mean, I don't know. I think what happens is it activates in me that brain cell of violence. Yeah, people dying. Wow. And it is incredibly good in that sense. But man, what a nice chapter it was. Where did we left? How much did we read today, my man? 986. Okay, let me copy this just in case. And well, I think that is everything for today. No, I will say. I will argue almost. Let me do this just so that I don't forget. And well, there it is. We have said, well, yeah, I mean, violence, lying, all of those basic structures get activated, you know, and it is nice to see it. I don't know. It was nice. Is all I can say. But yeah, I I guess taking a break was nice because after so long I don't even feel tired. So yeah, I don't know. We will, yeah, I guess we'll simply end it over here, my man. I don't really have that much more gas on me. Or well, it isn't that I don't have it, rather, I wish to not go for more than what I really need. So yeah, we are going to end the stream over here, my man. It was very nice. It was very interesting as always. And well, do you have the possibility of bringing someone? Where, where to, where to, where this welcome? We're probably going to find someone will benefit from two people, right? But yeah, as always, it was a beautiful thing to read. I, I guess not every single occasion it has deep wisdom, but at the same time, it isn't really that necessary for it to have it to be still entertaining, you know. So, not going to complain. Really, really, really good, I will say. So yeah, so far very nice. As always, also a pleasure to share all of this experience, all of this knowledge, or all of this excitement at sometimes, as I guess it is part of the process itself to do so. So yeah, very, very, very nice. But now, let us see, because I think we might as well end it, as I said, with a raid. Where? With to whom? Which place? Sure, GM. Who is? Let's see. He isn't going on a stream, right? Just in case. Yeah, yeah. Amazing, amazing. He's oh my god. I think he's doing almost not almost. He's doing a Whiplash fan art. So yeah, this is quality content. We're going to read here, my man. Ah, let us do that. But yeah, as always, it was a very nice experience. Very good, very entertaining, very beautiful as always. Haha, the bot fucking died once again. So did I remember to copy it? I didn't remember to copy it. Fucking bot. Anyways. Oh no. Well, no problem. We will simply write it like this. So yeah, as always, thanks for being here, thanks for the time, for the appreciation, for the opportunity. Remember to stay safe, remember to stay hydrated, remember to rest. And whenever it happens, we're going to get back here the next occasion, whenever it is. I also had a schedule. I forgot to post about it, but I will try to do so on the proper places. So yeah, for now, thanks for everything. Stay safe. And yeah, Ray, who shall GM who is GM, sorry, who is doing art. So yeah, bye everybody. Stay safe.